Hello YouTube, this is Dragonheart, the Prince of Wales, and welcome to episode 6 of T&O Thoughts and Opinions. Now, I've chosen a topic for this week's video. First of all, I do apologise for last week. I didn't upload a T&O video. I did do quite a few vlogs last week concerning Warhammer and stuff, which obviously is on my channel if you want to see that sort of thing. I didn't actually do an official T&O video. Lots of stuff went on in my personal life. I didn't have much time to record or stream like I wanted to, and I did fall behind on a couple of my series, so I spent the last sort of day or two now catching up and pre-recording lots of videos for this coming week. So this one is going to be pre-recorded as well, so this is a few days in advance of when you're seeing it right now. So the title of this video is going to be Assassin's Creed Syndicate. That's my thoughts and opinions on Assassin's Creed. First of all, I'm going to give you my kind of history with Assassin's Creed and then go into it, and that's what the video is going to be like. So my history with Assassin's Creed: I started off playing the first one when that was released, which was, I think it was 2008, I think it was. Right about then, it was on the PlayStation 3, and I just looked at a trailer of it, and it was Altair running through, I think it was Masyaf, and he got the White Hood, and he's got the kind of priests, and he's blending in, and it looked pretty cool, and I thought it looked like a very interesting historical-based game. Obviously, I bought it, I played it, fell in love with the game straight away and fell in love with the series. I thought the modern day plot was really intriguing. It was interesting. It had deception. It had plot twists. It had literally everything you could hope for in a modern day kind of story on Assassin's Creed. And the main kind of gameplay as well, as far as killing people, was pretty good. The first game had problems. Some of the gameplay was very repetitive. For example, you had sort of 9 people you had to kill, and you did the same thing over and over again. Eavesdrop, use eagle vision, follow somebody around a corner, and then go in for the kill. It was very much the same sort of thing over and over. It didn't have much as far as gameplay was concerned, as far as sort of repetition, but it was a great game. Assassin's Creed 2 came out, and it just blew the kind of gaming industry away. It was so good. Storytelling was fantastic. It improved so much. Gameplay improved. Wasn't as repetitive as Assassin's Creed 1 was. Ezio was one of the best gaming characters ever created as far as narrative games go, RPG games. He's charismatic, he was young, he was bashful, and obviously had the big kind of heartbreak of his parents getting murdered in front of him having to sort of take on the family name, and his story over the three games that he featured in, Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood and Revelations, was fantastic. You actually grew with the character, you saw his maturity through the 3 games. All 3 games are very good. All of them pretty much offered the same sort of things graphically and gameplay wise, although there were a few things they did differently. For example, in Assassin's Creed Revelations, you had the hook blade, so you could swing through certain buildings and stuff. They introduced the kind of Brotherhood system where you can recruit assassins and use them to sort of climb rooftops and jump down on enemies. It was pretty cool stuff. They did little things to change, but because the story was so good, because the narrative play was so good, the game was good, and it was those 3 games that really kind of pushed Assassin's Creed up as far as mainstream AAA games go. Then you had Assassin's Creed 3, which I actually really enjoyed. A lot of people didn't enjoy Assassin's Creed 3, but I did. I thought Con Kenway was a unique character. He was very heartwarming as far as his kind of love of his village and the conflict that he had with the sort of Native Americans, the kind of American Revolutionary War that was going on around him, the people that were sort of close to him, the conflict he had with his father. I thought it was played really, really well. The voice acting and the story in the game was great. Gameplay-wise, unfortunately, it was a bit buggy, and this was, even though over the first few games you did see bugs and stuff in it, and you do see kind of funny videos of people doing stuff with like Ezio and Altair, because the gameplay was so good, nobody really took much notice of it. Assassin's Creed 3 was one of the sort of first games which sort of highlighted some of the bigger bugs in the game, and it did do quite a few things to change things up. It had the first ever naval combat, so you could take command of the Aquila, which means eagle, and you could play as Connor in a few naval missions later on in the game. It offered other new stuff as well, such as climbing through trees. You had free kind of tree running and stuff, which they introduced. It was a good game. I enjoyed it. And then obviously they introduced that naval combat in that game. They brought it forward to the next one then with Black Flag. You played as Connor Kenway's grandfather, Edward Kenway, who was a Welsh assassin, wink wink. So we love him over here in Wales. But he was a great character as well. Haytham was fantastic. Before jumping on to the next game, Haytham was fantastic in the previous game. The whole Kenway line I really enjoyed. Connor, Haytham, and Edward. I thought they did a pretty good job with the kind of Kenway saga that they had in those games, and it was great to see that sort of take shape. Then after sort of Black Flag, Black Flag was good. It was more of a pirate game, but the gameplay was pretty good. Story was pretty good, although I thought it could have been a bit better, especially the modern day. The modern day was terrible. As a pirate game, really good, probably the best pirate game out there. As an Assassin's Creed game, perhaps not up to par, certainly with its predecessors, but it was a pretty decent game. It wasn't a bad game in any shape of the imagination. And then obviously you get to the Rogue and Unity. I never actually played Rogue, although I've watched lots of gameplay of it online. Story-wise, it looks pretty cool. Nice to see things from a different perspective with the assassin that they had in that game, the Irish assassin. And then, of course, you had Unity, which is where things start to go bad in the series. Assassin's Creed Unity, buggy launch, buggy release, DLC, whoring, Ubisoft, microtransactions, Uplay, which nobody wants to use, but it's sort of rammed down your throat all the time. It had the voice acting wasn't too bad in the game. The story was alright, but it just didn't do much for me. And unfortunately, out of all the Assassin's Creed games that I own, Unity is the only one I've never finished. I probably will go back to it one day. I'll probably live stream it on one or two evenings on my Twitch channel just to get out the way. I am sort of halfway through the game, but I just didn't like it, and I was fed up of sort of waiting a few months for them to patch it, go back to it, wait sort of half hour or so because all the patches needed to download and catch up, and then play it. And then the game hadn't really improved that much. So Unity was a big bugbear of mine. Unfortunately, I didn't really enjoy Assassin's Creed Unity, and that moves on then nicely to the next game. This is what I want to talk about in this video. It's taken me about 7 minutes to get this far, but obviously I wanted to just give you my kind of impressions of all this series and then talk about this one because I thought that would be the best way to do it. So obviously this is the newest game by here, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which you can see if I just zoom in by there. I bought the special, it's the Charing Cross edition. I showed my figurine, my Jacob Fry figurine in a previous video on my channel if you want to go and check that out. I obviously like the game because I wouldn't have bought that edition of it otherwise. I did pre-order it 3 days before it was released. I usually pre-order Assassin's Creed games long before then, but I obviously wanted to give it a chance and see what it actually looks like and plays like, and see if they renewed my faith in the series. And the good thing is it did. Assassin's Creed Syndicate so far, I've played probably about 7 to 8 hours, possibly a bit more. I've been doing lots of the side missions and again lots of the viewpoints and doing all the kind of side activities like treasure hunts and stuff, just to kind of make the game easier for the story and obviously get better equipment and stuff. Story-wise, I'm on sequence 4 at the moment. At the moment of recording this, which is about episode 3 or 4 on my YouTube channel. All the episodes I'm basically exporting from my Twitch channel. The game's been great so far. The story is intriguing. I like the dynamic they have between the two siblings, Jacob Fry and Evie Fry. It's nice to have two kind of main characters rather than one, although Jacob is sort of the main character. I did read online that he appears in 75% of the main story missions, and then Evie appears in the 25%. So would have liked to see a bit more. Would like to see a bit more of her. But of course, in kind of normal play, if you're not doing a story mission, you can swap freely between them. You can do side missions with either one. It doesn't really matter. I like the leveling system, so you can sort of what I've been doing. I've been giving lots of the stealth stats to Evie and lots of the combat stats to Jacob. They are kind of set out to be like that, so he's more of a tank. He can take a bit of punishment. He likes to get rough and dirty and use his fists and recruit all the rooks and kind of fight, street fighting basically. Whereas she's more of an assassin. She's very stealthy. She likes to sneak. She likes to choose her targets. She's very thoughtful she's very meticulous about her process of assassinations and stuff. And she's basically trying to continue her father's legacy, basically. So you got two different types of people there, and two different ways of playing. Obviously, as a player, it's down to you how you want to play them. If you want to play it the other way around and give all the stealth to Jacob, then you can. It's not really an issue. I do feel like, though, it doesn't really do too much to gameplay, the leveling system, because eventually you're going to have all the stats for the two characters anyway. So it just depends on if you want to do, like what I've been doing, I've been role-playing, so I've just obviously been doing the stealth for the one and the combat for the other. But at the end of the day, it's up to you what you want to do. Yeah, the game's been good. The locations are fantastic as well. They've done a really good job of replicating what London would have looked like in the 1860s. The good thing with this game is, because it's more of a modern historical background, it's only within the last sort of 200 years or 150 years, whatever. I think it's 150, and I'm not really looking. My head's like not all over the place at the moment. But they got photographs they can look at, so they can do a pretty good job. I know it's not to scale. Obviously, they've had to take some creative control and perhaps move buildings a bit closer or move things out of place slightly. And I know they had to invent a few of the pub names because I think there was some sort of licensing issue where they couldn't use proper pub names for some reason, so they had to invent things. But they consulted historians and they worked out like names that would have been around at that time or similar. So they took a bit of creative control there. So I mean, it's well thought out. It's a pretty decent game. I'm really enjoying it so far. Hopefully, it won't disappoint in the end. I'm enjoying it more in Unity, so it's gotta be doing something right. It's definitely renewed my optimism in the Assassin's Creed franchise. I'm hoping that now next year's game they'll have a decent setting, because it's a multi-year franchise. It's going to be one every year. Whether you like that or don't like that, it's totally up to you as a gamer. I don't mind it as long as they're producing decent content and good narrative. I play the games for the narrative. The gameplay doesn't change too much year by year, but I enjoy the gameplay as it is anyway. I feel like people sort of complain about the assassinations in these games, but if you play it properly, sort of really stealthy, make sure you don't get detected, make sure you pick your targets and plan your way, which is what I like about this game. And it's actually a concept they've taken from Unity, where there's like multiple entry points. They've actually taken that and improved it in this game, which I really enjoy as well. And if you play it like that, you're going to enjoy it, and that's why I do it. I try to be a proper assassin and try and do these missions that way, because it's the best way to play, and also go for the side missions. So if it says you get a bonus because you've killed this guard via a haystack, then try and kill that guard by a haystack. Get yourself into that position. Work out how to get to that position. That's what I really like. So the game does have a lot of strong core components to it, which I like I said, I really enjoy. If I was to give it a verdict, we are coming to the end of the video. If I was to give it a verdict, I would say either if you're a fan of the series, then buy it. If you're a kind of casual fan of the series, maybe wait a few months, especially if you're going to get the PC version. The PC version isn't actually out until the 19th of November, but maybe wait till the new year. It'll probably be a bit cheaper in a Steam sale anyway. That'll probably be the best thing to do. The only reason I say that is because with Assassin's Creed games, obviously they are a bit buggy. This game I haven't really come across that many bugs. I did have one situation where the game froze on me for like 5 or 10 seconds, and then it just sort of continued. But the bugs are nowhere near a Unity level of bugs, if you know what I'm saying. So in Unity, for example, the bugs I sort of had, the game would just crash completely. I couldn't play the game, basically. I couldn't do certain missions because of the frame drops, which is ridiculous. Even though it's a PlayStation 4, it should be optimized for release and everything. I mean, compared to Unity, Syndicate runs like a race car. It's just, it's that good. But anyway, I've just passed 14 minutes or so now on the video. I'm going to wrap up here. Let me know if you have played Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Let me know what you think of the Assassin's Creed franchise, whether you think it's good, whether you think it's bad. What would you like to see in the next Assassin's Creed game? Where would you like it to be set? And let me know what you think of Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Anyway, guys, I've been Dragonheart, the Prince of Wales. Thank you for watching TNO. Until next time, goodbye.